What's up, real MVPs? What's up, Bulls fans? Welcome in to another edition of Dave's Bulls Reaction. Nope, that's not it. It's not Dave's Bulls Reaction. Let's try it again. What's up, real MVPs? What's up, Bulls fans? Welcome into Ricky's Bulls Reaction. Got another one for you, and it's a great day because the Bulls win. No, yet again, no, Bulls did not win. Ricky, come on, get it together. All right, one more time. What's up, Bulls fans? Welcome in to another edition of Ricky's Bulls Reaction. Didn't wish the MVPs, for the real MVPs. Jim, I got to come out. Jim, that's 3 egregious mistakes. I think I got to come out, right? Right? Got to come out? Jim agrees, I got to come out. What's up, real MVPs? What's up, Bulls fans? Welcome in to another edition of Ricky's Bulls Reactions right here on Most Valuable Podcast, right here on the YouTube channel for Most Valuable Podcast. Before I get into everything about the Bulls' loss 116-108 to the Miami Heat, make sure to check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. That is how you check us out. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands so much. I'm kind of accenting everything that I do. But make sure to check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcasts. That's where you can help support us. $1 tier joins the Discord. $5 tier, ask us questions. $10 tier, join a podcast of your choice. That link down below in the description. But as I said, Bulls lose to the Miami Heat, score of 116-108. And boy, do we have a lot to unpack in this one. There's really 2 things I want to hit with this Bulls reaction. One of them is going to be a precursor. So you're going to get my raw reaction. I'm watching this the night the Bulls played the Heat. Like, I'm recording this right now. It's almost 2 in the morning Central Time. So I'm recording this before we do Superfans this week. And I know that we're going to talk about this on Superfans about Zach LaVine. We got to look into this because there's a lot after postgame that came out, and I am looking at Casey Johnson's Twitter, the Bulls Insider, and boy, is there, like, at first I thought, like, during the game Superfans, I didn't watch the Bulls game when it was live. I watched it recorded on my DVR, and at first I sent Sean and Dave the Superfans topics, and I'm like, oh, we should talk about Shaq Harrison because, you know, he played well in the last game. Could he be a stopgap piece? Should he be the starting 3 even when Chandler Hutchinson comes back while Otto is out for the next few weeks? And Sean's like, yo, dude, Boylan benched Zach LaVine. We should talk about that. And I'm like, oh, shit. I got to look for that when I watch the game. And at first I was like, okay, he benched him. He benched him early on. Zach LaVine still got 29 minutes in the game. It's not like he benched him and was like, oh, you're only playing 15 minutes tonight. No, like, he benched him. He still got his time. Like, during the game, I thought nothing. Like, when it happened, I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. You benched your star in the first quarter. But then I was like, okay, Jim's that guy that he's a send the message kind of guy, and this is just Jim Boylan's coaching, which you guys know I don't usually agree with all the time, and I just kind of went on from there, like, okay, nothing of it. But then after the game, there are quotes coming out, and I'm going to show the tweets for you guys. There's a couple of them here from Casey Johnson's Twitter account. The first one is that Boylan, this is going to come into a later discussion too, but Boylan said that Zach LaVine made 3 egregious mistakes defensively to start. And Zach LaVine, Casey Johnson, has 3 big quotes. I'm going to have them up here. The first one on whether LaVine felt singled out when he got pulled. He said, if you pull just me, yeah, I do. LaVine, I guess I was to blame for it. I've got pulled early before by him. I guess that's just his thing to do. I have to take it in stride. What did he say I got pulled for? Told that Boylan said he made 3 egregious mistakes defensively. LaVine said Zach LaVine got 13 points scored on him. I guess. Or was it the starting 5? I don't remember. I thought I was trying to do my job out there. And then the last one, I don't remember seeing 3 egregious mistakes. I think I was supposed to show on one, and I didn't. I told him because Jimmy doesn't usually set screens, he slips out of them. I didn't want to show and have him cut right to the basket. The other 2, I don't know. And when I read these 3, it's kind of, to me, a little confusing, but I think that this is going to go down a bad road for the Chicago Bulls, because originally I was like, oh, when it was like, yeah, I felt singled out. I'm like, oh God, this ain't going to be good. We're going to have another players only meeting. Jim Boylan's going to get, like, I shouldn't say get fired, because, Garpax don't like to do, and really it's Reinsdorf, don't like to waste money. But I mean, when I saw this, I was like, just a singled out tweet. I'm like, oh, we're going to have our players only meeting. We're going to have a players against Jim Boylan. But then I saw the one where it's like, yeah, I've gotten pulled before by him. I guess it's just his thing. I would actually have to see how Zach said that, because that one kind of sounds like well, whatever. It's not a big deal. But this to me is kind of a yin and yang kind of thing. And I don't want to go too much in on it, because you'll get my full thoughts on Superfans this week. But kind of just my premier reaction to it is that, has Zach, and we've talked about him all season long so far, has he been playing up to the par or to the bar that we expect him to? No, he hasn't. He's been subpar this year. As a Bulls fan, I'm saying that. So from what we saw last year, he's been subpar. However, there's another thing of, like, when you pull, like, part of me is like, when you pull your star, what's that going to do to their psyche? But then there's a part of me, I guess it's like the 90s basketball fan in me, where I'm like, all right, whatever, you got pulled. That means you just got to work better. You got to prove your coach that, hey, I can go out there, I can fix these mistakes. However, it's hard to have that mindset 110% because of how much I've bashed Jim Boylan, and I think he's an incompetent head coach. So there's part of me that's like, maybe this is like there's some onus on Zach because he hasn't been what we thought he's been. But, Jim Boylan hasn't made the right decisions, though, this year. So was it even the right decision to pull Zach LaVine? Was it all on Zach LaVine? Was it all his fault? Or was it the starter's fault? And that gets me into the main meat and potatoes, the main rant of this video. If I am a Bulls starter, I am sick to my stomach after this game. Or if you're not sick to your stomach, I'm pissed off. You know what? That's pretty much it. Not sick to my stomach. Maybe sick to my stomach with anger, but I am so pissed off at myself after this game, because there is no reason why our bench, like the 5 that ended the floor, Gafford, Struss, Harrison, Shaq Harrison, Archie Diacono, Denzel Valentine. When those 5 were put in, I was like, well, waving the white flag, this one's officially over. I almost turned off the game and said, you know what, I'll just do my Bulls reaction early. And they actually came back. They pulled it within 7. And there's a weird, there's a weird fucked up thing that my head does. I apologize for the language, but there's a weird thing my head does where I knew the outcome of this game. I knew we lost. But when this second unit started making a run and got down by 7, there was a part of me that's like, oh, can they win this game? I know, very stupid. Duh, Ricky, you're watching after the fact. You know they lose. But it's just, why can't our starters come out and play like that? Like, that should have been our starter moment. That should have been Zach LaVine hitting those threes. That should have been Lauri Markkanen hitting those threes, not Denzel Valentine. Kudos to Denzel Valentine for actually stepping up in a moment, because of how much I know I've bashed him, Dave's bashed him, Sean's bashed him on the podcast. Like, finally having a good moment from Denzel Valentine on this Bulls team. But it's like, our starters need to get it together. They need to get it together, because We can't have games like this. Like the Heat, I wasn't even pissed off at the beginning when we went down 15-0 to start the game. I wasn't even upset because I'm like, you know what? The Heat have been on, like no pun intended, they've been on a heater. Duncan Robinson's been great. Kendrick Nunn's been phenomenal since Summer League, basically. Jimmy Butler leading this unit. Miles Leonard's been, I know he's not the huge points guy, but he's been a nice addition for this Miami Heat team to where I wasn't even mad because I was expecting us to lose this game. The thing that pissed me off is that our bench mob 2.0, 3.0, whatever version of the bench mob this is, they go on that bench mob was 20-5 run, I think, at the end of the game, 20-5, 20-6 run at the end to pull it within 7. Our bench not only scored more than the starters, 57 points to 44, they got Eric Spoelstra to say, I'm going to put Bam Adebayo back in the game. Then got it to where it's like, I have to put Jimmy Butler back in the game. And all the starters for us were on the bench. I don't like that. I do not like that one bit. Bulls fans shouldn't like that one bit because then it looks to me of kind of like the dichotomy with this team of like, so, okay, you're telling me that the players that are on lesser contracts and their spot on this roster is not solidified. They have everything to worry about. Like, let's be honest, Max Struess, maybe not Ryan Arcidiacono, maybe not Gafford, but like Denzel Valentine, Shaq Harrison. These guys, if they play bad enough, they're not going to be on this roster. They're not going to be on the Chicago Bulls. They're going to be on the Windy City Bulls. Like, that's where they are. Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter, Kobe White, Thad Young, Chris Dunn. And I know some like Thad Young, Kobe White, Chris Dunn, technically not starters, but they were in that group that is usually inserted first into games. Those guys don't have anything to worry about. Kobe White, no matter how bad he plays, is not going to be relegated to the Windy City Bulls. Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine are never going to be put on the Windy City Bulls. And that to me is the big takeaway from this game is this is the first game all season that I felt that our starters were completely blown out, completely outmatched in this game. Like every other opponent that we have played this year that's been a playoff team, I'll put it that way. Because you look at our schedule. Let me pull up our schedule really quick. And I'm just going to go down the playoff teams that we have played and lost to this year. The Raptors. Were we in that game? Did we have any shot of winning that game? No. But I didn't feel like we were outmatched. I felt like, hey, if we had one more piece, if we may have played a little bit better, we might have been in that game. I didn't feel like we were just blown out of that game. Raptors came to play. It was just a really good game from them. Then you look at both Milwaukee Bucks games with Giannis out there. We actually had leads in our time in those games. Kobe White, phenomenal in a half. That was, I think, the first one because it was coming out of the Knick game. He played phenomenally in that first half. We were in those games. In those games. We were not blown out by the Milwaukee Bucks. You look at Brooklyn, only a 6-point loss. You look at, probably the only game, because, the Lakers, we had a big lead. We let them come back. Probably the only game this year that you could say we got blown out in was the Harden-Westbrook game when we played the Rockets. That's it. That's the only one. The only one this year besides the Miami Heat game. And even that one, I would say, is less than this because we didn't come out of the gates against the Rockets. They didn't jump on us 15-0. So, I mean, that's the big thing that kind of sits in my craw is that our second unit played so much harder than our starters. And it kind of comes back to me of like, and I know, like, I feel like Sean on the fast break tried to not harp on this, but tried to get me to kind of see the other side, because this whole year I've been boiling. It's his fault. It's the player's fault too. There's equal onus of whose fault this is. If you're a player, you're in an NBA roster, you got to come up to play. Like, you got to come to play each and every game you suit up for your respective team. But at the same time, on the other side, I feel like, and this is a question more than a knowing, because I don't know, I'm not in the locker room, I'm not at practices, but I kind of have the question of like, does this team, mainly the veterans, mainly the starters, does this team buy into Jim Boylen? Are they buying in to Jim Boylen? If I had to answer that question myself, I'd say no. I'd say no, they're not buying into Jim Boylen. If they were, they'd be playing harder. And I feel like this is going to be a precursor. This is the beginning of the wheels coming off the wagon for the Bulls this year. The pulling of Zach LaVine, this is going to start it. The now questioning the starters and their want and their drive. This game today against Charlotte, as this video is going up, the game tonight against Charlotte is going to be really huge. How do we come out? How do we respond from this? Because if we have another flat game and we lose to Charlotte again, this is the wheels coming off the wagon. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not in a good mindset right now. Like, I'm worried that we're heading to instead of heading towards that playoffs that Dave and I predicted as super, like, pie-in-the-sky Bulls fans, I feel like we're headed more to that players-only meeting, players against the coaches, wheels fall off the wagon this season is just thrown to the wayside. That's what I feel like this game could be the beginning of the end for, and it kind of makes me angry because of, like I said in my last Bulls reaction video, you look at the next 9 games, there's still 5 of the next 9 that we can win. We play the Warriors twice, we play the Kings once, we play the Hornets once, and we play the Memphis Grizzlies once. Those are 5 games that we can win. Now after this one, how's the events of this game going to trickle into the rest of these 9 games that I kind of have my little, like, this is the next section of the season that I want to watch. I want to know what you guys think. Bulls fans, what's your thought after this game? Are you how upset are you? How pissed off are you? What do you think about the Zach LaVine pulling? We're going to go more in depth on it on Superfans. Also get Dave and Sean's thoughts also, not just my own. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking, because I feel like this would have been a much not a happier video, but it wouldn't have been such an angrier video if the Bulls just got blown out and the second unit didn't come back in. But I'm glad they did. They made it exciting at the end. But let me know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Make sure to check us out, patreon.com/mostofoupodcast. That is where you help support us. Make sure that we can keep doing these videos for you guys each and every week. Well, I can do them each and every day, podcasts each and every week. Want to thank you guys for watching. Remember, Twitter, @RickyWidmer. Shoot me your questions. I will put them in the video so that we can talk about them. Make sure to do that, Patreon, all that fun stuff. But as always, have a good day, everybody.